What's up YouTube? Welcome to this video. This is a book slash movie review for one of my favorite books, and that's Addicted by Zane. I've been wanting to do a review for this book for a long time, but I don't know, I felt kind of like but I finished watching the movie last night and it was really good. I just had to do a review for it. The movie was able to capture most of the story from the book. It was good, but it wasn't great. The book is great, the movie is good. The story is basically about a woman named Zoe and her husband Jason, and they've known each other since they were young. In terms of relationship, they've only known each other, and anyone looking from the outside in would think that they have a perfect marriage. You know, they have beautiful kids, they have a beautiful house, they each have a career that they love. Everything seems perfect, but Zoe feels like their marriage is lacking something, and that is good sex. And there were times when Zoe tried to talk to her husband about how she was feeling in terms of him not being able to sexually perform, but he wasn't ready to listen. He didn't understand. So Zoe meets this potential client who ends up being the man that she cheats on her husband with, has an affair with. And after that, we the audience are led to believe that Zoe now has an addiction. And I say that with the bunny ears because I don't think it was an addiction. I don't think she was addicted. I felt like she was a woman who was deprived. She meets this guy who introduced her to a whole new world of great sex, and it's like, what is a woman to do? Don't get me wrong, I'm not supporting her for cheating. I think she could have did better in terms of trying to solve this situation. So I'm just saying that I understand, I get it, but I don't support the fact that she cheated. I think that she could have did more in terms of communicating with her husband, letting him know that this was a situation that really bothered her. She could have really sat her husband down and just given it to him straight. She could have said something like, look, hubby, I love you. You know that. Everyone that attended our wedding knows that. And we have a wonderful life together. But the sex is not doing it for me. And I've been trying to talk to you about this situation, but it seems like you don't want to identify it as a problem. And I was this close last week to cheating on you, but out of love and respect, I didn't. So what we're going to do is that we're going to find you a sexologist. We're going to find you a therapist, somebody that you could talk to so that you can get your shit together. And next time we make love, I can have an orgasm. You know, something like that. But Zoe couldn't do that. You know, it got to a point where she started blaming herself. She started thinking that maybe she wasn't attractive enough. She didn't have the perfect body. You know, it was her fault that her husband couldn't sexually perform. So my niece woke up, and the first thing she does when she wakes up is look for food. So I had to just go and sort her out. But I'm not married, and the story had me thinking, what really is a marriage if you're not able to talk to your partner about what you're thinking and how you're feeling about certain situations? So rather than think that this story is just about another woman cheating on her husband, it stresses how important communication is in a marriage. And what I really liked about the movie is that to some extent we get to see the pain that Jason goes through when he finds out that his wife has been cheating on him. So when he goes to the session that Zoe's therapist invites him to, he goes with the mentality that this could partially be his fault also, and that he can take some blame for his wife cheating on him. But what confuses me about the story is Zoe's reason for being a sex addict. We find out later on in the book that something happened to her in her past that is supposedly the cause of her addiction. We also find out that something happened in Jason's past that's causing him to not be able to sexually perform. Jason's childhood trauma and how it's affecting him made sense to me. It clicked. But Zoe's reason for being a sex addict, it didn't really make sense to me, and it also didn't really work together because the author made us to believe, first of all, that this addiction is because her husband is not able to satisfy her. So that made me think, would it have really mattered whether the husband can satisfy her or not? Because she brought in this character, this husband that has his own issues, that's not able to sexually perform, and then again brings a whole different situation about a childhood trauma, and then she went through, and so it was confusing to me because I didn't know which one was the cause. Was it because of the husband, or was it because of a childhood? I don't know. It was confusing to me. I felt like it should have been one thing or the other. It could have been that yes, it was the trauma, it was her childhood trauma that's causing this addiction, and that the husband, there's nothing wrong with the husband's able to sexually perform, but because of this addiction she wants more and she goes looking for more even though her husband is able to satisfy her. Or it could have been that there was no childhood trauma, and that her husband is just rubbish in bed, and she needs more. And she met this guy called Quentin, and you know, he's introduced her to a whole new world of sex, and she's just addicted. So I thought that it could have been one thing or the other. And because I felt like Jason's childhood trauma and how it has affected him, because I thought it was so good and so deep, I wish the movie would have stuck with that and just forgotten about Zoe's childhood trauma, because it did not work for me. What I didn't like about the movie is how it ended with Quentin. So here we know and understand that this guy is £1 million psycho, and he has issues of his own. But rather than it ending with him getting help on those issues, we just see him casually lying on a couch being served breakfast by a woman who knows that he's crazy. So I thought that they could have did better with that. There could have been a scene where he was getting help with his issue, or maybe just throwing him in a mental institute or something. But I felt they could have did more with that one. Apart from that, like I said, the movie was good. It wasn't a letdown, because when I heard that there was a movie being made on Addicted, I was super excited. But it was really good. You know, the cast member was amazing. Boris Cujo, William Levi, however you pronounce it, Sharon Leal, they were all amazing. So it was a really good movie. That's the end of this review. I didn't want it to be long, so until next time, you guys take care and stay blessed. Bye.